What's up, guys? Back here in the garage, working on the Exocet today. I know it's been a while since I've done any sort of episode with the Exocet, and really the only episodes that I've mostly done is primarily been like racing and stuff, because I never really did a build thread with this, because I started doing all this YouTube stuff like, you know, a lot after I'd already built this. But I am going to take you through the new build situation we got going on with this. I hadn't intended on doing this. I considered it multiple times. I mostly just couldn't justify the cost, and I couldn't justify a couple other things, but I'll go through that. But I did buy something, and I got a hell of a deal on it, and that's probably the main reason that this is going to happen. In addition to, it just sounds awesome. But, you know, enough of that. Let's show you what I got. Granted, you probably already know what it is because you probably read the title, because I'm sure I wrote something about that. I don't know. But this is what we got. Yeah. So, we're going Supercharge, guys. This is a Novi 1500. It's a Paxton Supercharger. It's an ECS kit for a C5 Corvette. So basically, the story is a guy local. He had parted out his Corvette, and he's got this Supercharger kit. It's missing a couple pieces, but I gotta end up getting a hell of a deal on it. I'm gonna have to buy a couple things, but it's not a big deal because some of the things that are missing, I would have had to make custom for this anyway, and it probably wouldn't have worked. So this is the thoughts. So this blower, essentially, it's good for about 900 horsepower is what the kit is, you know, says is what they say about this blower. Obviously, I don't need that in this. That would be absolutely insane. But, you know, currently right now, all motor, this thing dynoed at 320 on a dyno jet, which that was before I put the intake manifold on it, which that's, you know, that's pretty standard for as basic as this thing is. That's about right. And you guys know in the past, you know, I put on 2 nitrous kits, so like it's total of like 175 shots, so it's making roughly 500 on both kits. So with this Supercharger kit, my thoughts are that if we can get this thing supercharged and get it turned up to the point where it's making at least the 500-ish on blower only, then we can spray on it on top of that and make even more power. And my other thoughts are that because it's not going to be nitrous, it's not going to have that instant hit where it's going to blow the tires off. So in theory, hopefully I can have more traction down low and actually be able to utilize it. We'll see. Time will tell. I don't know. But I've taken some measurements. It looks like everything's going to fit. I won't know until we get it in there, obviously, but we're going to have to start digging into this. So I think the first situation is I'm going to have to take the front end off, which is a huge pain in the ass, but let's get to it. All right, front end's apart, radiator's out. You're probably wondering, why did I pull the radiator? Well, the reasoning you will find out when I start installing this stuff. But the main reason is that the radiator, I'm gonna have to move it. So it's gonna turn into a whole thing. But basically I had the radiator on the inside of the radiator support. Now it's gotta be on the outside of the radiator support because the Supercharger is big enough, it's gonna take up all that space. So I'm gonna start seeing if I can figure out how to get this bracket on here for the Supercharger and try to get it mocked up in there so we can kind of see what we have going on here. Guys, look at this. Look at this. Oh man, look at that. That's so good. Look at that shit. Hell yeah. It fits so good. Oh, it's so close in there that it's gonna work, guys. So excited. Oh my God, guys, I'm so excited. So good. So some of the problems that I was running into is this is actually clockable. I just kind of I moved it all the way up here because I found that if I have it sit right down in here, it hits here really hard. And I actually can't fit the Supercharger on. So at the moment, this is where it's going to sit. However, I'm planning on redoing this radiator support. I got to figure out exactly how I'm going to do it. I haven't 100% decided yet. My ideas at the moment is I'm probably going to have to cut these out, either one or both. I'm not sure yet. I was really hoping that it was going to clear this enough that I could run a filter and not have to mess with this top one, and I was going to cut the bottom one out because I really would like to run 2 large fans down here, and I'm thinking if I had this radiator support gone, I'd have 2 large fans. But at the moment, it's not going to clear. So what I might have to do is maybe relocate this down possibly, and then delete this one, get rid of that one and just run one maybe, I don't know, or maybe even come out with it a little bit, I don't know. It's up in the air at the moment. The biggest thing is I really would like to run an air filter situation because these things actually have a restrictor plate from out of the box, and basically it sits inside the intake, and it just chokes it down a little bit to reduce boost, because if I run this thing with the pulley that I have on there right now, it's going to make way too much boost. So it'd be nice to have a restrictor plate on there. I could possibly go with a bigger pulley, maybe to reduce the boost down enough. I don't know. Either way, I'd really like to have a filter in there. It'd be nice. I still got to figure out how I'm going to run that, because obviously I've got to have this coming down, because I've got this intercooler here is the one that comes with the kit, and basically like it's kind of flipped around at the moment. I mean, I guess I could run it either way, but more than likely this is going to go towards the passenger side, and then it actually has the blow-off valve flange here, and then this one is going to run to the intake. So I'm going to have this giant pipe running straight down here, so I got to figure out, I got to be able to clear everything basically. So since the radiator is going to sit up here, the intercooler is going to have to sit in front of it, then the oil cooler is going to have to sit in front of that. So it's not going to be ideal as far as that goes, but I think everything's doable. I just got to figure out how I'm going to run everything. I haven't decided yet. I do kind of wonder if this was out of there, because I noticed when I had this thing clocked kind of the other way, it was hitting here pretty hard. And maybe I can do something where I can take this out, maybe run a crossbar. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But at the moment, goddamn, guys, look at that. Okay, so you saw that I cut off the lower radiator support that I built before. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to jam pack all this crap underneath this nose cone. And what I figured out so far is that my plan is I'm going to move the nose cone forward. Essentially, the nose cone, if you can see where I had it mounted here, I had that hole and that hole down there. It actually, the bolt holes line up about here. Because essentially when I have this thing bolted up, currently this is touching the supercharger. So we gained about 3 inches here. What my plan is to have it all the way out here. That way I have more room for the intercoolers, the radiator, oil cooler, all that stuff. So it's not just sticking way out the front. Now the problem that I have is I have to remount the nose cone. Now, because this is angled on the sides, when I move it out, it actually pushes it further away from where the bolts line up. So what I've done is I put some studs on here, and I went through and I'm marking on the nose cone where the bolt hole is going to need to be. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some all thread, put some all thread in all 4 of those locations. Then I'm just going to get some spacers to space it out. That way when I slide the nose cone on, I don't have to fish around with a bolt to try and figure out where the hole is. I can just slide it on, throw a nut on it, be done with it. Now, that's not going to be the only place I support it. I'm kind of trying to work out a way to support it on the lower half, because I don't think it's quite strong enough as is, because before it was actually resting on it was actually pushing up against this. Now it's like not, it's just kind of floating. So I don't think that's enough. So I have an idea for that. I'm still working on it. But right now I'm going to drill these holes out and see if I can get it lined up, and then we'll move on from there. Okay, I did some stuff off camera. I found some bolts that fit pretty damn well, and I just found some just random crap to space that out, and it's actually not bad for the moment. I still think I need to, build some sort of support, but yeah, I kind of moved on from there. I did do a little bit of fab. I ended up cutting this section out, and then I just tacked in a piece of metal on the top, because obviously I don't have any argon, so I can't finish it. That way, this intake is going to clear. I just ran some random pipe I found just to kind of give you an idea, because I think what I'm going to have to do is since the intercooler, the main pipe is going to come here, I'm probably going to have to run this one out and around and then come back, is my thoughts, and run a filter over here. Or maybe, if I have enough room, maybe run a filter on top up in here. But, I mean, obviously there's not a lot of room up in here. It's going to be hard to see any of this stuff, but essentially, I think it's going to be doable to run some sort of filter on there. And I am planning on running a step down right here. Basically, this system is supposed to have some sort of restrictor plate in the air filter itself, but I don't have any of that stuff. And I think the best way to do what I need to do is to run a smaller pipe, because basically the restrictor plate that they run in there is like 2.75 ID. This one, like the inside of a 3-inch pipe, is like 2.9, so it's a little bit bigger. It might give me a little bit more boost, but not a ton. If I have to, I can just swap out my pulley and make different pulley sizes. But for the most part, I think stepping down from this is 3.75 down to 3-inch. That's a pretty big drop down, but that should restrict it enough so I don't get a crazy amount of boost. I really need some argon, guys. I really need to do some welding right now. I'm kind of at the point I need to weld on this, and yeah. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it on this one, this episode. It is an episode because I am going to be keeping you guys up to date on progress on this project. Obviously, I have a lot of projects going on right now. You know, I'm going to try to keep you up to date on all those as much as I can. Yeah, with respect to time. And off camera, I've actually got one more project that I'm not even showing you guys. My daily driver has currently been leaking a bunch of coolant, so I've been fixing all the gaskets and seals on that. So that's all torn apart. So everything's torn apart right now, but it is what it is. What's one more project, right? I think this is going to be excellent, though, guys. It's going to be, oh man, it's going to be so fun to get this thing done, and it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited about this. Yeah, there's a lot of fabrication I got to do, obviously, and whatever to make this thing work, and more parts to buy and all that stuff. But it's gonna be epic. I've also got some repairs I got to do to this thing, so at some point I'll probably show you guys that too, because the transmission needs rebuilt. Fifth gear's been scratching. I've talked about it in previous videos, but that's on my list of things to do this winter after I get that situation figured out. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. I've got a lot more to come. So yeah, like, subscribe, do all the things. Peace out.